Hey again, this is Manny, one of the producers of the channel. I just want to let you know that the episodes are now podcasts too. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Audible, Pandora, and pretty much anywhere you listen. Same cozy stories, just easier to take on the go and with no ads. Just look us up by the same name, Deep Sleep Stories, and search for our logo. I'm also adding the links in the description below. Thank you so much for the support.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories, where gentle words and drifting sounds guide you toward the gift of restful slumber. As you settle in, you might already sense your eyelids feeling a little heavier, your breath finding a slower, more comfortable rhythm. Right now, there's nothing you need to do but listen, relax, and let the day slip away. This evening, you'll embark on a soft journey into the mystical legends of mermaids along the warm shores of Fiji. Take a moment to let your body settle into your bed or wherever you find yourself. Feel the surfaces supporting you. Notice the warmth or the coolness in the air around you. With each inhale, gather comfort. With each exhale, let go of tension held in your shoulders, your jaw, your back. Picture your breath as gentle waves, rolling in with every inhale, retreating with every exhale, leaving you calmer with every ebb and flow. It's time to release the thoughts of the day, letting them drift away into the distance, like small boats on a quiet sea. Now, your only task is to float in this peaceful space, guided by the soft current of the story you're about to hear. Soon you'll drift into a realm of tropical breezes, moonlit shores, and a legend of mermaids who sparkle like starlight beneath the waves. As you breathe slower and deeper, the gentle hush of the story draws you in. Let your eyelids grow heavy, knowing you're safe here, free to wander through this upcoming tale without expectation or worry. In a quiet, hidden inlet along the Fijian coastline, the warm breeze drifted over white sand and swaying coconut palms. Night had only just begun to settle, and the stars were blossoming in the sky, one by one, like tiny lanterns lit by unseen hands. The gentle hush of the ocean lulled the village into a calm hush of its own. A young woman named Nalani emerged from her simple thatched hut, guided by the silvery glow of the moon. She carried a woven basket in one arm and a lantern in the other, both of which she held with a kind of reverence, as though she were on a sacred mission. Far from any bright city lights, the moon and stars offered the only illumination, painting soft shadows across the sand. Nalani moved without hurry, each step an unspoken prayer to the sea. The night air felt soft against her skin, carrying the faint scents of salt, coconut, and the earthy fragrance of distant rainforest. She listened to her own breath, in tandem with the gentle pulse of the ocean. Tonight, she had a simple purpose: to gather seashells that washed ashore under the moonlight, each one carrying with it a whisper of ancient tales. In Nalani's village, stories were cherished like heirlooms, passed down in hushed voices around driftwood fires. There was a particular legend that had danced on the lips of generations, the legend of mermaids who lived beneath the cerulean waves near the reef. Old fishermen spoke of fleeting sightings, glimpses of shimmering tails and gentle laughter echoing from beneath the surface. But no one had ever claimed to see a mermaid up close. These mermaids, it was said, were guardians of the coral kingdoms, keepers of harmony between land and sea, and protectors of souls who found their hearts tethered to the ocean. As she walked the beach, Nalani remembered the lullabies her grandmother used to sing. In those soft tunes, the mermaids were not only mythical beings, but also symbols of hope and renewal. Their voices, the songs said, could heal heartaches and calm storms within the spirit. Their presence alone was thought to bring deeper peace, reminding listeners that nature's rhythms were gentle and wise. More than once, Nalani had dreamed of them. In the hush of early morning, she would recall half-remembered visions of glowing figures dancing in the water, guiding her to quiet coves filled with swirling fish. Night after night, she found a comforting companionship in these legends. She would speak them aloud when she was alone, repeating the stories by heart, as if her words could summon the mermaids from beneath the waves. But she never expected to see one. Not really. She simply found solace in the idea that, just beneath the surface, there could exist a world so serene and magical. It comforted her to think that the ocean held secrets beyond her understanding, secrets that were both mysterious and kind. On this particular evening, the sea was unusually calm. The waves that usually tumbled up the shore in excited breakers merely whispered, leaving delicate ribbons of foam along the sand. A hush lay over the world, and the sky glowed with a pure, moonlit clarity. When Nalani reached her favorite spot, a curved bend in the shoreline surrounded by towering basalt rock formations, she set down her lantern. Its gentle light glimmered across the sand, revealing tiny flecks of crystals embedded in the shells. She knelt down, running her fingertips gently across the surface, collecting shells of all shapes and muted colors. The hush of the ocean lulled her mind into a gentle daydream. She could almost see shapes in the water, swaying with the tide. Perhaps seaweed, perhaps fish, or perhaps something else entirely. Though the night was perfectly still, there was a tingling in the air that made her heart flutter, a sense that she was not alone in this hidden cove. She paused, letting the ocean breeze caress her face. Then, ever so softly, she heard a sound. It was delicate, barely more than a breeze through reeds, yet it carried a sweet tone, almost like a lullaby. Slowly, Nalani turned her gaze out to the ocean. She saw nothing at first, only the gentle shimmer of the moon reflecting on the water's surface. But then a small ripple caught her eye. The sound grew, a soft hum that seemed to vibrate through the rocks and settle into the sand. She felt her breath hitch, and for a moment she wondered if her own mind was spinning a dream. As she stood there, the humming turned into a melodic whisper, weaving through the night air. Her heart thumped gently, in awe rather than fear. She stepped closer to the water's edge, one hand pressed against her heart, the other still holding the basket of shells. The reflection of the moon was bright, but within that glow, she discerned a silhouette moving gracefully beneath the surface. It circled and glided, stirring the water like a dance. In that moment, time stretched, as if each second dripped into the next, like honey from a spoon. Nalani blinked, unsure if she was caught between sleep and waking. Then, with a gentle splash, the figure surfaced. In the silver light, Nalani saw flowing hair cascading over a slender figure that rose from the water. The glow of the moon kissed the soft curves of a face that appeared both human and enchantingly otherworldly. A shimmer of something, scales perhaps, reflected near the waist, trailing into the gently rolling water. Nalani thought she might stop breathing altogether, yet the presence before her emanated warmth, like the hush of dawn before the sun peeks over the horizon. Slowly, the figure lifted an arm, moving water aside with a quiet grace. In that silent exchange, Nalani felt a connection stir inside her chest. She found no fear in her heart, only wonder and a sense that she was witnessing a secret usually reserved for the hush of legends. The mermaid, for indeed it was a mermaid, regarded Nalani with gentle, curious eyes. Her face was framed by pearls of moonlight, her expression soft with possibility. Although no words were exchanged, Nalani sensed a greeting passing between them, an acknowledgement of shared space under the serene sky. Drawing closer, Nalani took slow, deliberate steps until the ocean lapped at her ankles. The water was warm, as though it had absorbed the sun's rays throughout the day and held on to them for this special moment. She bent down, placing her basket on the sand. Then, she held out her empty hands in a gesture of gentle openness. The mermaid floated there, considering the gesture, and drifted a little nearer, the gentle fin of her tail rippling the calm surface. A faint luminescence clung to her scales, a soft rainbow shimmer that looked like stardust dancing upon the ocean. They remained in stillness for a time. Nalani closed her eyes, breathing in the salty night air, sensing a profound harmony. The mermaid also closed her eyes, and Nalani felt an echo of wordless understanding flowing between them. It was as though they shared a universal language older than speech, one woven of tides, moonlight, and the rhythms of a peaceful heart. Gradually, the mermaid drew a little farther into the water, inviting Nalani to follow. A gentle stirring within her urged Nalani to wade deeper, though she did not move beyond knee-deep. She respected the boundary where land met sea. The mermaid reached out, and with a graceful flick, placed a small, glowing shell upon the surface of the water. The shell drifted toward Nalani, bobbing gently in the small ripples. With delicate hands, Nalani lifted it from the water. It felt warm, pulsing lightly in her palm. She pressed it to her heart, whispering the only word she could manage. "Thank you." The mermaid observed quietly, as though content to see the gift accepted with sincere gratitude. The moment felt timeless, suspended in that hush of the tropical night. Eventually, the mermaid flicked her iridescent tail and began gliding away from the shore. Before she vanished beneath the waves, She turned one last time, her eyes inviting Nalani to trust in the ocean's quiet secrets. Then, in a swirl of water and moonlight, the mermaid was gone, leaving only the echo of her tender melody lingering in the air. Nalani stood there, knees in the warm water, shell in hand, feeling the night envelop her like a comforting quilt. She knew this moment was more than a chance encounter. It was a gentle reminder that the unseen world often holds as much wonder as the visible one. The next morning, Nalani returned to the village, quietly carrying her glowing shell in a pouch close to her heart. She longed to share the news, yet she also held the experience like a fragile treasure, wary of how easily it might lose its magic if spoken aloud. Instead, she found a soft sense of reverence guiding her daily tasks. She fed the chickens, tended her small garden, and fetched water, all with a tranquility that made everything feel like a prayer. Days turned into weeks, and Nalani continued her nightly visits to the shoreline, hoping for another glimpse. Sometimes the sea was restless, waves crashing in a relentless rhythm. On other nights, the moon hid behind clouds, and the darkness was complete. But her heart never lost that gentle glow of faith in the legend she had touched. Each time she waded into the shallows, she felt the memory of the mermaid's eyes, reminding her that there was a hidden realm of magic waiting just beyond the horizon of common understanding. One dusk, word spread through the village that a traveling storyteller had arrived. He was an elder named Temana, known for his mesmerizing tales of far-off islands and ancient spirits. Whenever he visited, entire families would gather around a small fire on the beach. They would bring woven mats and simple snacks of fruit and settle down to listen to his voice carry them into realms of imagination. Nalani joined them, her curiosity ignited by the possibility that he might speak of mermaids or mystical ocean dwellers. That evening, the villagers formed a circle around the crackling fire. Sparks lifted into the sky like tiny fireflies. Temana sat in the center, wearing a necklace of shells that rattled softly each time he moved. His voice was deep, yet soothing, like the murmur of distant thunder. He began by telling tales of warriors who conversed with wind spirits, and of wise birds that could sense danger before it arrived. Then, after a thoughtful pause, he mentioned a story that made Nalani's heart flutter. The legend of the Fijian mermaids. He spoke of coral gardens under the sea, luminous in the filtered sunlight, like underwater rainbows. Fish the color of precious gemstones darted among the swaying forests of seaweed. At the heart of these gardens, he said, lived a community of mermaids who believed in harmony above all else. Their voices were said to be able to call in fish from miles away, gather storms to quell wildfires, and even lull sea creatures into peaceful rest. To hear their song was to glimpse the soul of the ocean itself. Temana described how sometimes a mermaid would form a bond with a person of the land, a bond woven of empathy and trust. The meeting could occur under the glow of a full moon, when both the sea and the human heart were calm enough to truly listen. When such a connection formed, he said, the mermaid would share a token of luminescent shell or pearl, a piece of the ocean's gentle spirit, This token would remind its bearer that even in the darkest of nights, there is always a hidden glow, a promise of deep and tranquil magic. At those words, Nalani instinctively touched the pouch that rested against her heart. Inside was the very shell she had received, still warm to the touch whenever she held it in her hand. She listened closely, her spirit stirred by Tamana's revelations. When he finished the tale, the villagers applauded softly, the sound mingling with the crackle of the fire. Tamana bowed his head in humble appreciation, and a hush settled over the group as the night grew deeper. Afterward, Nalani approached the elder. With soft caution, she spoke of her experience, though not in direct words. She asked if a person truly could meet a mermaid under the moon. Tamana's wise eyes crinkled kindly. He placed a weathered hand upon hers, and in a hushed voice, he told her that such encounters were rare gifts from the ocean, not to be forced or flaunted. If she had indeed met a mermaid, he whispered, she carried a piece of the sea's spirit within her now. He advised her to listen closely to her heart, for it would guide her to the ocean whenever she was called. Encouraged, Nalani spent more time along the shore each night, letting the soothing lullaby of the waves envelop her senses. She brought small offerings, flowers, fruit, and softly sung songs from her grandmother's lullabies. She would leave them at the water's edge, sending gratitude out with the tide. Often, she would sit on a smooth rock, her feet dangling above the glittering foam, and hum the gentle melody she once heard from the mermaid. Each note seemed to echo across the bay, blending with the steady hush of the water, until the two were indistinguishable. In time, Nalani felt a stirring in her dreams. She saw swirling schools of fish glinting like diamonds in clear blue water. She felt the wave of the tide carry her gently over coral reefs as vibrant as flower bouquets. She heard the soft chime of the mermaids, as though distant bells were singing in aquatic harmony. When she woke, she felt rejuvenated, as if the salt air and the mermaid's presence had renewed her spirit. She continued her daily routines with that same quiet reverence, noticing that even the simplest tasks took on a serene glow. Eventually, she sensed it was time to venture beyond the shallows. One early evening, under a sky brushed with gold and pink, Nalani prepared a small canoe. Its sides were painted with swirling patterns inspired by the sea. She loaded her basket of shells, a few small lanterns, and a modest net. With practiced ease, she pushed the canoe into the placid water. She let the tide guide her, paddling gently, mindful of the precious reef below. Her heart fluttered with anticipation, not of danger or excitement, but of a deepening connection with the watery realm she had come to revere. The ocean shimmered as day melted into night. Stars blinked awake, and the moon rose in gentle brilliance. Nalani ceased paddling and allowed the canoe to drift on the water's surface. She felt the ocean cradle her, like a mother rocking her child to sleep. In the distance, she saw faint outlines of reefs, their shapes barely visible beneath the moonlit surface. She lit one of her lanterns and hung it over the side. Its warm glow penetrated the water, just enough to reveal small fish darting in curious arcs. Before long, she became aware of a faint glow moving beneath the water, more subtle than the lantern's light, yet mesmerizing in its own right. A ribbon of luminescence seemed to weave toward her canoe, like a gentle swirl of phosphorescent algae. Nalani leaned over the edge, and with a quietly pounding heart, she saw a familiar silhouette approach from the depths. The mermaid emerged, her scales gleaming like silver threads beneath the surface. Her eyes met Nalani's, and that gentle, musical humming filled the air once again. In reverent calm, Nalani lowered her hand. The mermaid rose to the surface, placing one elegant hand into Nalani's own. Their palms touched softly, and a sense of unity filled the space between them. No words were spoken, yet Nalani felt as though her spirit was being gently tuned to the ocean's harmony. The mermaid circled the canoe with graceful arcs, occasionally flipping her tail to send shimmering droplets across the surface. Even in the soft light, Nalani could see that the mermaid's expression was serene, almost maternal, as though guiding a younger soul along a path of discovery. With the mermaid by her side, Nalani slid into the water, trusting the ocean's embrace. The warmth enveloped her, and she floated beside the canoe, letting the gentle waves carry her. The mermaid offered an inviting motion, beckoning Nalani to look beneath the surface. Taking a calm breath, Nalani dipped her face underwater. At first, the world was a blur of moonlight and swirling shadows, but as her eyes adjusted, she caught sight of coral heads glowing softly in the darkness. Schools of tiny fish glimmered like living stardust, weaving in and out of rocky crevices. She drifted upward for air, her heart brimming with wonder. The mermaid's melody resonated through the water, vibrating gently against Nalani's skin, as though the ocean itself hummed in harmony. Nalani felt the shell at her chest grow warm, pulsing softly, with an energy that matched her own heartbeat. She allowed the calm of the night to wash over her like a gentle lullaby. No thoughts racing, just a serene acceptance of this gift. All around them, the hush of the night offered sanctuary, as if the world above and below had merged in quiet compassion. Time became fluid in that moment, no longer tethered to the usual cycles of day and night. Nalani stayed afloat, listening to the mermaid's gentle melody. Eventually, a soft yawn escaped her, an indication that her body was ready to rest. Sensing Nalani's fatigue, the mermaid guided her back to the canoe. With tender care, Nalani hoisted herself back into the vessel, lying down on the wooden boards. The mermaid trailed behind, occasionally rising to the surface to peer at Nalani, ensuring she was settled comfortably. Beneath a canopy of stars, Nalani allowed her eyes to close. She could still hear the faint resonance of the mermaid's song, weaving through the darkness. The calm rolling of the ocean, the gentle breeze across her skin, and the memory of glowing reefs lulled her into a restful trance. The mermaid remained near, her presence a tranquil guardian watching over the realm where land meets sea. The canoe drifted, guided by the subdued current, as Nalani's breaths grew slow and rhythmic. Eventually, the first hints of dawn brushed the horizon with pale light. The sky softened from deep blue into a quiet lavender. Sensing that the time had come to return, the mermaid gently circled the canoe once more, offering Nalani a final glance of calm regard. Nalani, stirring from her half-sleep, saw the mermaid dip gracefully below the surface. A swirl of shimmering bubbles marked her departure, and then the water returned to its placid state. Though sadness pricked at Nalani for the mermaid's exit, she felt an overwhelming gratitude that such moments could exist at all. Over the following days and nights, Nalani carried that serenity within her heart. She resumed her simple life, tending the garden, helping neighbors, participating in communal gatherings, yet everything seemed lit from within by a secret glow. She no longer needed to confirm what she had witnessed. She lived it in every breath. And so, whenever she walked along the shore or gazed across the waves, she felt that quiet invitation. to open her heart to the gentle mysteries of the world and embrace the possibility of magic just beneath the surface. In the passing months, Nalani became something of a quiet wisdom keeper in her community. People who felt overwhelmed by the demands of daily life found comfort in speaking with her, sitting together on the porch of her thatched hut as she quietly listened. She had no grand revelations to share, only a presence that offered a calming respite. If they asked how she remained so serene, she would simply smile and encourage them to visit the sea at night, to listen with an open heart, and trust in the gentle hum of the ocean's lullaby. Still, sometimes at dusk, Nalani would take her lantern and walk down to the quiet cove. She would stand where the sand melted into the ocean, let the water lap around her feet, and recall the soft glow of those moonlit nights. Though the mermaid did not appear every time, there was comfort in simply being there, in the hush and gentle cradle of the sea. She felt the silent bond that remained, anchored by the shell she wore near her heart. And every so often, when the conditions were just right, the hush of the waves gave way to the faint sound of that enchanting melody. Now, as the story draws to a quiet close, allow yourself to float on the same gentle tides that carried Nalani through her peaceful encounters. Imagine the soft glow of moonlight reflecting on calm waters, each ripple creating a lullaby for your weary mind. There is no rush here, only the soothing tempo of a night that envelops you in its warm embrace. In this peaceful space, you can let your breath slow and deepen, matching the steady rhythm of the distant waves. With each exhale, feel any lingering tension gently loosen, drifting away like tiny shells carried by the receding tide. Let your heart find comfort in the gentle hush, trusting that you too are cradled by a serenity older and wiser than any worry. Picture yourself standing at the edge of those Fijian shores. The moon glimmers above. The air is mild and fragrant. The ocean invites you to rest, reminding you that there are kind forces just beyond the boundaries of sight, guiding and watching over you. Feel the calm settle in your bones. Let it be an anchor of tranquility, holding you steady in the cradle of night. Now, as you grow softer in body and spirit, slip into that quiet realm of dreams. Here, you may wander with Nalani along moonlit beaches, lulled by the hush of friendly tides. Allow each breath to draw you further into gentle slumber, each heartbeat a reminder that you are safe and cherished in this moment. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well, and may the whispers of the mermaid song guide you into the sweetest of dreams.